Good morning, everyone. This is lecture number 7 of Engineering Thermodynamics. Till last lecture, we have studied the work done and expression for work done for closed system. Now, we'll study internal energy and enthalpy. What is internal energy? Internal energy is a type of stored energy. And what is stored energy? Stored energy is the internal energy plus external energy. If we subtract external energy from from stored energy, we get internal energy. Now what is how stored energy get induced? How stored energy get induced in the body? External energy, we merely consider external energy as the potential energy and the kinetic energy. Potential energy is the energy possessed by the body by the virtue of its position. Kinetic energy is the energy possessed by the body by the virtue of its motion. Now, what is internal energy? Suppose there is a block. Suppose there is a block and we are pushing it. We are trying to push it. We are applying some force. We are applying some force, but that block is not moving. Even though we are applying some force, that block is not moving because that block itself applying some force in the opposite direction of our force, and that opposing force is called as a internal energy. In term of solid it is called as stress, but in term of liquid and the gas it is called as a internal energy. Suppose there is a water in a beaker and the one piston is given at the top of the water. One piston is a place at the top level of the water and it is movable. The piston is movable. Suppose we are heating the water. Suppose we are heating the water. According to first law of thermodynamics, heat and work is a mutually convertible. Heat and work is mutually convertible. If we supply heat, it should give work done. But what is work done? Work done is a P into dV. Whatever the pressure of water, multiply by change in volume. Multiply by change in volume. We are supplying the heat. First temperature of the water start increases. First temperature of the water start increases. When the temperature of water reaches to boiling point, then water will convert into steam, and after that piston will move in the upward direction. When the water will convert into steam, then piston will start moving in the upward direction. At that time we get a displacement of volume, we get a displacement of piston, that is change in volume. Then we get a work done. Here heat is getting converted into work done. P pressure of water or the pressure of steam multiply by change in volume dV, it is a work done. Therefore heat supplied is converted into work done. But tell me, as soon as the heat is supplied, does the piston will move? Piston will not move. Piston will not move. When we are supplying the heat, first of all temperature of water will increase from initial temperature to boiling point. Unless and until water boils, steam will not form and piston will not move. Therefore, from initial temperature to boiling point, whatever heat is supplied to the water is utilized to build internal energy, is utilized to build internal energy. When the water start boiling, now internal energy has reached to its end point. Water starts converting into steam, then we are getting the work done by the movement of piston. Therefore heat supplied is equal to internal energy plus work done. That formula we have seen in the first law of thermodynamics. That is called as the internal energy. And internal energy only change when there is a constant volume. There is a constant volume. When temperature of water was initial temperature up to boiling point, no piston displacement was took place. Volume was constant because internal energy was building, and internal energy only build when there is a constant volume. Once the volume started changing, internal energy stops. Building of internal energy stops. Therefore, internal energy change only when there is a constant volume. Look at the definition of stored energy is the difference between heat and the work done. We have seen this formula. This is the formula of first law of thermodynamics. Q is equal to E plus W, or we can say is equal to Q minus W. When we subtract work done from heat, it gives a stored energy. Take the example what I explained you now. Stored energy is the sum of internal energy plus external energy. External energy is the kinetic energy and potential energy. Neglect kinetic energy and potential energy, then this E is the internal energy. Okay. Therefore, heat supply. When we subtract work done from heat supplied, we get internal energy. Therefore, whatever heat is supplied to a water, first that heat is utilized in building internal energy. Internal energy is a difference of stored energy and external energy. Most of the time we consider external energy as a kinetic energy and potential energy, but there are some other form of external energy are magnetic energy, electrical energy, surface tension energy, solid distortion energy. In thermodynamics, we do not consider this type of energy. We consider kinetic and potential energy merely. Therefore, internal energy is stored energy minus kinetic energy minus potential energy minus magnetic energy, electrical energy, surface tension energy, solid distortion energy. Therefore, E is equal to internal energy plus kinetic energy plus potential energy. That is internal energy plus external energy. E is equal to U plus what is kinetic energy? M C square upon 2. C is a velocity and potential energy is equal to mgz. M is a mass, G is the acceleration due to gravity, and G is a height of the datum, height from the datum. This is a total stored energy. This is total stored energy. Total stored energy is always with respect to the mass of the content. Now, small e represents the per unit mass or the specific stored energy. When we talk about the specific, we consider mass equal to 1. Therefore, for per unit mass, we write in a small letters. E is equal to U plus C square by 2 plus Gz. And the change in stored energy related to some reference state shall be given as change in stored energy equal to change in internal energy plus change in kinetic energy plus change in potential energy. During the heat transfer, internal energy increases at a constant volume. Listen, internal energy increases only when there is a constant volume. Once the volume start changing, internal energy stops. Therefore, change in internal energy is given by du equal to mcv dt. Du is equal to mcv dt. I told you that internal energy change only when there is a constant volume, but internal energy increases or decreases because of the change in temperature. Because of the change in temperature. Suppose volume is constant and temperature is also constant, internal energy will also remain constant. Internal energy will not change. Therefore, internal energy is a function of temperature. Also, the change in internal energy depend upon the content, means mass. Depend upon the content, means mass. And the specific heat of that substance. Specific heat of that substance. Specific heat of that substance means ability to carry the heat. Ability to carry the heat. If we define the specific heat, there are two types of specific heat. Specific heat at constant volume and specific heat at constant pressure. Specific heat at constant volume is written as Cv and specific heat at constant pressure is written as Cp. You might have studied in 12th standard. Let me define the definition of specific heat. The amount of heat required to raise the temperature of substance of unit mass of a substance by 1 degree Celsius. The amount of heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of substance by 1 degree Celsius is called as specific heat. to increase 1 degree of increase 1 degree Celsius temperature for a 1 kg mass of a substance, amount of heat required is called as a specific heat. Therefore, we have to multiply temperature with a specific heat. Temperature into specific heat gives the change in internal energy per unit mass. If we multiply it with the mass, it gives a total change in energy. Now, du is a change in energy in the differential form, which is equal to m cv dt. If we integrate it, du will be equal to u. M cv is a constant. Integration of dt is t from 1 to 2. Therefore, it will be t2 minus t1. From 1 to 2 means process 1 to 2, volume 1 to 2, or process 1 to 2, temperature 1 to 2. Okay. Therefore, u is equal to mcv t2 minus t1. Enthalpy. Now, enthalpy is a sum of internal energy and flow work. Enthalpy of a substance at any point is a quantification of the energy contained in it, which would be given by the summation of the internal energy and the flow energy. Summation of internal energy and flow energy. Now, what is flow energy? Flow energy is a product of pressure and volume. Enthalpy is a very useful thermodynamic property for the analysis of engineering system. Mathematically, it is given as enthalpy is a sum of internal energy and flow energy. Enthalpy is a sum of internal energy plus flow energy. Flow energy is a product of pressure and volume. On the basis of specific enthalpy could be given as specific enthalpy means per kg of mass, per kg, on the basis of per kg. It is a total enthalpy. Per kg we have to take small letters, internal energy plus flow energy. During the heat transfer, change in enthalpy at constant pressure. During heat, we can supply the heat at constant pressure at constant temperature. Therefore, change in enthalpy at constant pressure will be given by dH is equal to mCp dt. Cp is a specific heat at constant pressure. As I explained you, it is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of a unit mass of a substance by 1 degree Celsius at constant pressure. Okay. Then mCp dt. If we integrate it, we will get h mCp t2 minus t1. During the heat transfer, change in enthalpy at constant volume. At constant volume, it will be mCv dt, and mCv dt is equal to du, or we can write h equal to mCv dt t2 minus t1, which is equal to u. At constant volume, change in enthalpy is equal to change in entropy. Change in internal energy. Change in enthalpy is equal to change in internal energy at constant volume, but at constant pressure it is different. Therefore, for the constant volume, dH is equal to du. Heat transfer is equal to dq mc into dt. M is a mass of substance, C is a specific heat, dt is a change in temperature. But value of C is depend upon type of process, whether it is constant volume process. If the volume it is constant volume process, then we have to take C as a Cv. If it is constant pressure process, you have to take C as a Cp. For heat transfer at constant pressure, the dq is equal to mCp dt. We can write q is equal to mCp t2 minus t1. At constant volume process, dq is equal to mCv dt, which is equal to mCv t2 minus t1. At constant volume process, heat supplied is equal to change in internal energy. If the volume is constant, then there is no work done. Therefore, q is equal to du plus w, and w is a 0. Therefore, q is equal to w. Therefore, for constant volume, dq is equal to du. Now, we will study steady flow system and their analysis. Steady flow system. In this, we will study steady flow energy equation, which is called as SFEE. Consider a system. It is a open system. Means what is called as open system? the system in which energy and mass crosses the boundary. Consider this is the boundary of a system. This rectangular block is a system boundary. Here, the working substance enters and working substance leaves. Therefore, it is an open system. In open system, mass and energy both enters and leaves the system. Here, the mass and the energy is entering, and from here, energy and mass of the system leaving. Fluid is entering at a particular height Z1 and fluid is leaving at a particular height Z2. Therefore, its height of entering and leaving is Z2 minus Z1. Heat is also entering. As the heat is entering, it is giving some work done. Okay, as the heat is entering, it is giving some work done. At the entry of the fluid, it has some property as the density as ρ1, velocity as c1, area of this is a1, velocity v1. At outlet density, it has another density, another velocity, then area as outlet is different, then velocity, no sorry, volume, not velocity, it is volume. v1 and v2 is the volume, c1 and c2 is the velocity. These are some parameter at inlet. Sorry, this is a P1, not ρ1. P1 is pressure at inlet and pressure at P2 is pressure at outlet. The pressure in Newton per meter square. At section 1 it is a P1, at section 2 it is P2. In specific volume V1, V2. Velocity at inlet and outlet C1 and C2. Elevation Z1 and Z2. Cross sectional area A1 and A2. Mass flow at M1 and M2. Internal energy U1 and U2. Steady flow refers to the flow in which its property at any point remains constant with respect to time. What is steady flow? When the fluid is moving and the flow is very steady, then property at point 1 and property at point 2 is constant. It doesn't change with the time. Steady system is a system whose property are independent of time. That is, any property at a point in system shall not change with the time. Let us take an open system having the steady flow. Consider figure, the previous figure shows the steady flow system having inlet at section 1,1 and outlet at section 2,2. Heat addition Q and work done by the system is W. Heat is added by the system, heat added to the system is Q and work done by the system is W. Therefore, Q is equal to change in internal energy plus W. We have seen just in last expression. Therefore, Q is equal to dE2 minus dE1 plus W. It should be E2 minus E1, not dE2 minus dE1. It should be E2 minus E1. Q E2 Q E1 is equal to E2 plus W. If we consider the energy at inlet is equal to energy at outlet, which is called as the energy balance. Here we have taken energy balance, or we have shift this E1 on left hand side and this E2 on right hand side. Therefore, Q is equal to dE1 and W, Q plus E1 and W plus E2. And what is E? E is a stored energy and E is a summation of internal energy and external energy. Internal energy and external energy. But while considering, we consider flow energy also. Therefore, Q is equal to M U1 plus C1 square by 2 GZ1 plus P1 V1 is equal to W plus M2 U2 plus C2 square by 2 plus GZ2 plus P2 V2. We have seen P1 V1 plus U1 is equal to H1 because enthalpy is a sum of internal energy and flow energy. Therefore, we can write U1 plus P1 V1 is equal to H1. Listen, H1 is equal to U1 P1 V1, H2 is equal to U2 P2 V2. Therefore Q is equal to, this steady flow energy equation is equal to Q plus M H1 plus C1 square by 2 plus GZ1 is equal to W plus M2 H2 plus C2 square by 2 plus GZ2. Above equation is known as a steady flow energy equation, which is called as SFE. If the mass flow rate at inlet and exit are same, that is M1 and M2 is equal to M, then Q plus M H1 plus C1 square by 2 plus GZ1 is equal to W plus M H2M H2 plus C2 square by 2 GZ1 will be written as per unit mass, that is Q plus H1 plus C1 square by 2 plus GZ1 is equal to W plus H2 plus C2 square by 2 plus GZ2. It is the steady flow energy equation per unit mass. But if we consider mass, we have to take this equation. If we consider mass, we have to write Q capital, W capital. But if we consider steady flow energy equation per unit mass, then we'll write small q, small w, and everything is small. Joule's law. Joule's law states that the internal energy of a perfect gas is a function of absolute temperature only. Internal energy is a function of absolute temperature only, as I explained in the internal energy expression. That is a Joule's law. Relation between two specific heats. Two specific heats are Cp and Cv. We'll see relation between specific heat Cp and Cv. Cp minus Cv is equal to R. Now what is R? R is a gas constant. There are two types of R. One is universal gas constant and second is characteristic gas constant. Universal gas constant is written as R bar or R degree, and only R is written as specific characteristic gas constant. Characteristic gas constant is a gas constant of a particular gas. Suppose every gas has its characteristic constant, like air, nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen. They have its own characteristic gas constant, and the value of R for every gas is different. But there is only one universal gas constant. The value of universal gas constant is 8.314 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Cp minus Cv is equal to R. The ratio of specific heats. The ratio of specific heat at a constant pressure to the specific heat at constant volume. Ratio of specific heat represents Cp upon Cv. Specific heat at constant pressure to the specific heat at constant volume is given as symbol gamma. Gamma is called as a ratio of specific heat, and which is equal to specific heat at constant pressure upon specific heat at constant volume. If we divide this equation by Cv, then it will be Cp upon Cv minus 1 is equal to R upon Cv. Then if we take Cv common, then this equation become, it will be like gamma minus 1. Okay, Cv is equal to R upon gamma minus 1. Look at here, Cp upon Cv is gamma. Cp upon Cv is gamma. Therefore, gamma minus 1, this expression will be gamma minus 1 is equal to R upon Cv. Then if you take Cv left hand side on this portion on right hand side, then it will become Cv is equal to R upon gamma minus 1. Now engineering application of steady flow energy equation. First is water turbine. Now in a water turbine, this turbine rotates by the action of water. As the water flows, as the water jet strikes on the turbine blade, turbine rotates. the water coming from particular height, and that height is taken from the center of turbine. That height is taken from the center of turbine. That height is Z1, and Z2 is 0. Z2 is 0 because Z2 is taken at the center line of this. Therefore, Z2 minus Z1 equal to Z1 itself. This turbine is connected with a generator. Generator generates the power. As turbine rotates, it generates the power, and this is the system boundary. Okay. Since it is a water turbine, cold water is supplied. Therefore, there is no internal energy or there is no enthalpy. Only potential energy and kinetic energy will be associated with it. No heat transfer because it is a cold water. Refers to the figure 4.32. In the water turbine, water is supplied from the height. The potential energy of the water is converted into kinetic energy. When the water is stored here, the water has potential energy, and water when fell down here, water is falling on the turbine, it changes its potential energy into kinetic energy. Then it enters into a turbine, and part of it is converted into useful work, which is a useful generated energy. Since it is a cold turbine, there will not be any enthalpy, there will not be any internal energy because no interaction of temperature. Since no interaction of temperature, there is no heat. Since turbine is rotating, turbine is giving work done, potential energy and kinetic energy will be there. Considering the center of turbine shaft as datum, the energy equation can be written as U1 plus P1 V1 plus GZ1 C1 square by 2 plus Q is equal to U2 plus P2 V2 plus GZ2 C2 square by 2 plus W. Now here no heat transfer, Q is 0, no heat transfer, U1 is 0, GZ2 is 0, therefore it is 0. U1 0, U2 0, Q 0. Q 0, U2 minus U1 is 0, V1 minus V2 is also 0 because volume is constant, and Z2 is also 0. Therefore equation will be written as, here V1 and V2 is constant. V1 and V2 is constant because same amount of water is entering and same amount of water is leaving. Therefore, we can write V1 is equal to V2 is equal to V. Therefore, P1V plus GZ1 plus C1 square by 2 is equal to P2V plus GZ2 plus C2 square by 2 plus W. This is the final equation for water turbine. First, steam or gas turbine. In the steam or gas turbine, this turbine, consider this is a system. This turbine is connected with a generator, it gives the power, means power, we are getting power means system giving the work done. We have to consider work done. Now since it is a steam or the gas turbine, in the steam turbine we have to convert water into steam by the application of it. Means we have to consider internal energy and the enthalpy here. In gas turbine also, in gas turbine gas is heated and supplied. The hot gas or hot steam is supplied to a turbine. Therefore, we have to consider interaction of heat and temperature. And we consider that change in kinetic energy at inlet and outlet is 0. Change in potential energy, we consider that the datum level from inlet and outlet is 0. Therefore, potential energy and kinetic energy in this case is 0. Heat we have to consider because we are heating the fluid, we are heating water and the gas. We have to consider work done. Since it is hot, we have to consider internal and enthalpy, internal energy and enthalpy. In the steam or the gas turbine, the steam or the gas is passed through a turbine and a part of energy is converted into work in the turbine. This output of the turbine runs a generator to produce electricity as shown in the figure. The steam of the gas leaves the turbine at a lower pressure or the temperature. Applying the energy equation, there is no change in datum, therefore Z1 equal to Z2, which is delta Z equal to 0. H1 plus V1 square by 2 minus H is equal to H2 plus V2 square by 2 is equal to W. But most of the time, kinetic energy at inlet and kinetic energy at outlet is same, therefore we do not consider it most of the time. Here the Q is a negative because the heat is rejected. Here the Q is negative because heat is rejected from the system or come out of the boundary. The W is positive because work is done by the system. Centrifugal pump. Centrifugal pump takes water from a well or a pond which is below the centrifugal pump. Therefore, the height from the pond or the well to the centrifugal pump center is a Z1, and centrifugal pump pushes the water to a overhead tank, and the level of that overhead tank is taken as Z2. Here we have to supply work done to the centrifugal pump. We have to supply work done to a centrifugal pump. Therefore, we are supplying work, and that work is a negative. The centrifugal water pump draws water from the lower level and pump to a higher level as shown in figure. Work is required to run the pump, and this may be supplied from the external source such as electric motor or diesel engine. Here Q is 0 and change in internal energy is 0 because pump takes cold water and supply cold water. It doesn't increases the temperature of water. Therefore, heat interaction and internal energy interaction is 0. Therefore, there is no change in temperature of water. At inlet and outlet, velocity remains constant. Therefore, there is no change in kinetic energy. Applying steady flow energy equation. Therefore, P1 V1 plus GZ1 plus V1 square by 2 is equal to P2 V2 plus GZ2 plus V1 V2 square by 2. Here we have taken minus W because it absorbs the work. The work is negative because work is done on the system. Centrifugal compressor. Now centrifugal compressor is the compressor is a device which compresses the gas, which compresses the air. When the air or the gas is compressed, its pressure increases and the volume decreases. But while doing compression, temperature is also increases. This is system boundary, air inlet and air outlet. The figure refers the centrifugal compressor which compresses the air and supplies the same at a moderate pressure and a large quantity. Applying the energy equation to the system, the change in datum level is equal to 0. Therefore, H1 plus V1 square by C1 square by 2 minus Q is equal to H2 plus C1 square by 2 minus W. While compression, it increases the temperature and the heat is rejected from the compressor. Therefore, minus Q is written, and energy is required. Electrical energy is required or some external source is required to run the compressor. Therefore, minus W. The Q is taken as negative as heat is lost from the system, and W is taken as negative as the work is supplied to the system. Or H1 plus C1 square by 2 minus Q is equal to H2 plus C2 square by 2 minus W. Then reciprocating compressor, the same as that of this centrifugal compressor. Reciprocating compressor also, this is a piston, this is a cylinder. Centrifugal compressor is a compressor which comprises of piston and cylinder. Piston reciprocates inside the cylinder. Therefore, this compressor is called as a reciprocating compressor. While compression, pressure increases and volume decreases. While compression, as the pressure and volume changes, temperature also changes. Temperature increases. Temperature increases because of the compression of the fluid as well as the friction between piston and the cylinder. From the receiver, air enters in the compressor from the inlet wall, and from the outlet wall, it escape from the system. Now to run the compressor, we have to supply some work, we have to supply electricity, or we have to use some external source to run the compressor. While compression temperature increases, therefore it reject the heat. The figure refers to the reciprocating compressor draws in air from atmosphere and supplies at a considerable higher pressure in small quantities. Compressed with a centrifugal compressor is the same. The reciprocating compressor can be considered as a steady flow system, provides the control volume, include the receiver, which reduces the fluctuation of flow considerably. Applying steady flow energy equation, consider change in potential energy is 0, change in kinetic energy is 0, means inlet and outlet velocity is same, and we are considering the inlet and outlet at a same level, same datum. Therefore potential energy, change in potential energy equal to 0, since the change are negligible compared with the other energies. Therefore H1 minus Q is equal to H2 minus W. This is the equation. Condenser. Condenser is a heat exchanger which is used for heat transfer. Condenser is used for cooling purpose. In our household refrigerator, at the back side of the refrigerator, there is a coil, black colored coil, that is a condenser. From the condenser, a refrigerant moves and refrigerant exchanges the heat with the atmosphere. Since in the condenser, refrigerant reject the heat, therefore temperature of the refrigerant decreases and it is called as a cooling device. That cooling device is a condenser. In the condenser, water enters and water leaves, and here from the other direction steam enters and steam leaves. Steam is entering at a higher temperature and leaving at a lower temperature. Water is entering at a lower temperature and water leaving at a higher temperature. Suppose steam is entering at 100 degrees Celsius and the temperature of steam decreases to say 50 degrees Celsius. There is a difference of 50 degrees Celsius. Then where that temperature goes, that temperature is absorbed by the water, the cold water. And suppose the initial temperature of water is 30 degrees Celsius and water temperature increases to 80 degrees Celsius. Means the temperature of water is raised by 50 degrees Celsius and temperature of steam decreased by 50 degrees Celsius. Steam is in a gas form. When the steam exchanges the heat with the water, it condensed in a water. Since we are considering the change in velocity is 0 and change in potential is also 0, therefore kinetic energy and potential energy is same at inlet and outlet. Therefore change in kinetic and potential energy is 0. But since it is a heat interaction, heat transferability takes place, but there is a no moving device, no output we are getting. We are getting output in the form of change in temperature, but no work done we are getting. Therefore work done is 0 here. The condenser is used to condense the steam in case of steam power plant and condense the refrigerant vapor in the refrigeration system using water or air as a cooling medium. Figure shows the system. For the system, change in kinetic energy and change in potential energy is 0. Work done is 0 since there is no any work developed by the absorber. Using energy equation, steady flow, H minus Q is equal to H2. H minus Q is equal to H2 because here work done is 0. Therefore Q is equal to H1 minus H2, where Q is heat lost by 1 kg of steam passing through the condenser. Here we are considering 1 kg of system. Assuming there are no other heat interaction except the heat transfer between the steam and the water. Therefore Q is equal to heat gained by the water is equal heat gained by the water passing through the condenser. Therefore mass of water H2 minus HW2 minus HW1 is equal to mass of water C2 TW2 minus TW1. This is a energy balance equation. If we consider the steam and if we consider the water, the temperature of water changes and temperature of steam also changes. The heat lost by the steam is equal to heat gained by the water. The energy balance will be is equal to heat lost by the steam is equal to heat gained by the water, and heat lost by the steam is equal to mass of steam, specific heat of steam, and change in temperature of steam, and heat gained by the water is equal to mass of water, change in temperature of water, and specific heat of water. Temperature and specific heat, multiplication of temperature and specific heat is the enthalpy. Therefore, we are taking mass of water, change in enthalpy of water is equal to mass of steam. Here it is a steam. Specific heat of steam, change in temperature of steam. You can take this as a water and this as a steam. Notations are given same, no problem. Substituting the value of Q, we get H2 minus H1 equal to MW, W2 minus HW1 is equal to MW, CW, TW2 minus TW1, where MW is the mass of cooling water passing through the condenser and CW is specific heat of water. For the evaporator, we will take in the next lecture.